Hello everyone, I'm Roseveer, and in this video I'm going to talk about my experiences so far in the Shadowlands beta. To get things started, I want to talk about the leveling in Shadowlands, and that in Shadowlands the leveling is very much on rails, and when I say on rails I mean literally on rails. The story takes you from one step to the next, to the next, to the next, and there's very little deviation from that. And it's so different from past expansions in World of Warcraft that it almost doesn't feel like WoW. And I don't feel like other YouTubers and streamers have really emphasized how big of a change this actually is, even though some of them have pointed it out casually, like Preach in some of his videos. This could be a problem because the actual XP gained from doing just the story is not actually enough to progress you from level 50 to 60. And you won't actually be able to finish the story unless you stop and do side quests to level up and continue on with the storyline. And I don't know if it's just poor tuning or what it is, but currently in the beta, if you don't stop and do dungeons while leveling, you won't have enough XP to get from level 50 to 60, even while doing a lot of the side quests. So the best example I can give of an issue that can arise with the leveling system that they have set up in Shadowlands is the first character that I decided to level up in Shadowlands, which is my Warlock. And generally when I'm testing a game, I like to play the game in the worst possible scenario. So I decided to level my Warlock with War Mode off and do no dungeons while leveling. So I'm just getting XP from quests, and I basically leveled doing as many of the side quests as possible, did all the storyline obviously, and by the time I got to the point where I had made it through all the way to Revendreth, which is the final zone that you make it to in the storyline, I was level 59, and I had run out of storyline because to continue the story, I had to be level 60. So I started looking around Revendreth, and I finished all of the quests that I had available in Revendreth, side quests. Still not level 60. I go look back at Ardenweald. I had already done all of those. Still not level 60. But I went and noticed that in Maldraxxus I had missed a whole bunch of quests, side quests that is. And because the zones in Shadowlands don't scale with your level, so neither do the quests, they were gray. And I was no longer able to get XP from those quests. So I was in a situation where I had done all the quests I had available. All I had left to do was either queue up and do dungeons, and in the beta you have hour-long queues for DPS, and so that's not really an option. I'm not going to sit in an hour-long queue. Or I can sit there and grind mobs to gain more than half a level to get to 60. And in current WoW, that's just unacceptable. And getting to a point in a video game where you literally just can't continue the storyline because of mistakes that you made previously just feels really bad. And it's not something that I feel like is a very good thing for World of Warcraft, because you're going to end up with more casual players who just decide to quit the game because they got to level 58 or level 59, realize that they made mistakes that they can't correct, and they either have to grind mobs or start over. And neither of those are a good option. So moving on to another topic, I want to talk about bugs in Shadowlands, and Shadowlands is absolutely packed full of bugs. Now, I'm not talking about just small little bugs here and there, I'm talking about completely game-breaking bugs. Now, I'm going to show an image here on the screen of something that happened to me, and you can see that this is what my screen looked like, right? Like, it was stuck looking like this, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. Now this is the screen that you get when you're going in the main city, Oribos, when you're going from the main level up to the flight path area or back down to the main level. So you see this every time, and for me, once every about 30 times I get this bug where it gets stuck on my screen. And there's literally nothing I can do about it. I tried reloading, I tried hearthing, I tried relogging entirely, I had friends summon me. Nothing got rid of this. I even killed myself in game a couple times to try and fix this, and nothing fixed it. So I just like, okay, one more option. I tried queuing for a dungeon, and after about an hour in queue, I was able to get into a dungeon, and it fixed it. So every time this bug happens, and it happens randomly, I have to queue up for a dungeon to get rid of this screen. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's things like this that make the delay for Shadowlands completely necessary, and I know people are upset about it, but it's 100% needed at this point. So the final thing I want to talk about is the issue of Blizzard basically creating a new game with each expansion. Now, they don't really create expansions for World of Warcraft. Every expansion is technically a new game. It's very different from the previous expansion, just systems added and all this other stuff. And more recently, they've been making each expansion with a completely different philosophy from the previous one. So if you look from MoP to WoD, WoD to Legion, Legion to BFA, BFA to Shadowlands, every single one of them was made with a completely different game design philosophy in mind, and some of those philosophies are liked more by the player base than others. Obviously, I think MoP and Legion are probably by far the best, and BFA, WoD, and we don't know about Shadowlands yet, but it feels like they're trying to shake things up to keep the game interesting, but eventually you shake things so much and so hard that things just start breaking. And it feels like we're getting to that point where in Shadowlands they're trying to add all these new systems and all these interesting things like covenants and conduits and all this, the legendaries and all this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it sounds great, it's gonna be fun. It's like, okay, you guys are trying to do way too much. Just step it back, calm down. The base game is still really good. You don't need to rely on all these borrowed power systems to make the game fun. So that's about all I have to say for this video. I know it's a little bit shorter than most of my videos, but I really just wanted to get my initial thoughts from the Shadowlands beta out there. And I haven't made a video in a little while because I've been testing so much with the beta. Now, I'm going to have some more in-depth things coming up with covenants and conduits and ideas and just game design stuff, and get real nitty-gritty with that kind of thing, in giving ideas on how they could fix it or how they could make it better or how they could just make it fun, because there's a lot of ways that they could do it and they just seem to be missing the mark on a lot of them. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.